The presenting sponsor of Upmarket is Auto HDR, the AI that powers our back end. For a free month of editing, go to autohdr.com/upmarket. Coming to you from the Treehouse at HDPhotoHub headquarters in Smokies, Spokane, Washington. This is Upmarket, a podcast about the business of real estate photography and media. My name is Reed Fish. I'm the CEO and a co-founder of Upmarket Media. My COO, other co-founder, he didn't make the trip up, but Molly Peart did. Molly here, silently producing today behind the scenes, but we flew up from Santa Barbara last night, and all to sit here and speak with Herb Dierks, the founder, CEO of HDPhotoHub. What I want to get into first is I feel like we're now in August, and I have just all year been like, when are we going to get busy? When are we going to get busy? And I don't know if we are. And I'm wondering, because with HDPhotoHub, you're obviously working with photographers all across North America, all across the world probably.
Yeah.
What are you seeing as trend lines broadly in the industry? I mean, how are people doing this year?
Yeah. Well, first of all, thanks for coming up.
Oh, yeah.
We're so glad to have you
welcome.
here.
Yeah,
it's a pleasure to
I'm having fun already.
Yeah. I think what we're seeing is it really depends on the market that you're in.
Mm-hmm.
Some markets are really struggling. Others are doing okay. So it is a market-specific thing. It's sort of like when you ask what's the temperature going to be outside today. Taking a national average is actually not that useful. What is it going to be in my neighborhood? And so some markets are really struggling a lot more than others. But ever since the interest rates got jacked up, there's a lot of people still locked into 2% mortgages that just can't move. And so that's definitely put a wet blanket on the industry as a whole. We've definitely seen that. Although in looking at some of the sort of broader trends and looking at aggregate data across the people that use the platform, there's definitely some things that stand out. I think obviously the regional trends are one, but another thing is it seems like in some markets there are people that have just decided not to participate. They've looked at the fact that everything is slower, and a bunch of their competitors have been like, well, it's slow, what are you gonna do? They get into Eeyore mode, and as a result of that, it actually creates a window of opportunity where those that are hungry and that are out hustling are actually doing a pretty good job of bringing in new clients. So we have some clients that have really developed and cultivated and leaned into the sales side of the business, used that slow time to work on relationship building with realtors in their market, and have had a lot of success.
Wow. Now, do you broadly, are you looking at, when you're saying it's very regional or market-based, are there certain types of markets that are doing better than others? I mean, is there a commonality to the markets that aren't doing as well as to the ones that are? Like, because I'm almost like, well, where we are, where the average home value is a lot higher, that's the reason that we're slow.
Yeah, I think frankly a lot of it has to do with there's people migrating out of California and out of.
There's people coming into California, please too.
But it's more regional around what's happening. Like it's in the news when big companies are leaving a state and moving to another place.
Sure.
And, people follow as a result of that. So the states that you can watch the U-Haul trends and see where people are going, and that tracks really well with the places that have a lot of incoming U-Hauls are doing better than the others. The other thing that we identified is there's actually a really tight correlation to the amount of money people are willing to spend on real estate photography and the sale price of the house, right? So So in areas where people are trying to push their prices up, if the house prices are going up, that works really well.
Right.
But if the house prices are flat and you're trying to push your prices up, then that creates an opportunity for somebody else to compete on price. And of course, that's always a challenging thing. We never want to be competing on price. Never want to be competing on price. We always want to be competing on value. But I think that is a factor. Inflation is real everywhere. But if the house prices are not going up, then it's not a good market to raise photography prices. But by contrast, if the house prices are going up, man, get those prices price increases going.
Yeah, and I think because we really haven't raised prices. We try to do it every year, but now we're on like a year and a half of not raising it, and it feels like house prices in our market have been flat. And so I think we're actually seeing our average order value a little up. I mean, and that stands to reason when houses are sitting on the market longer. The realtors feel like they need more marketing materials. But just our volume is so much lower that even with the average order value higher, it's like not making up for it,
Yeah.
So
and that's definitely also been what we see in our data is that the average order values are going up, that the volume is struggling to keep up.
Right. Well, do you have? I mean, what do you have a take on where things are going? I just met with our in Ventura County, like the president of our board and the CEO of the realtor board. We had lunch the other day, and I was like, "Well, are we ever going to get our spring market this year? Is it coming in September?" And they're just kind of like, "I don't think so."
Yeah.
It's like they're just saying it's with the interest rates and just like it's just everything. It's just there's not a buzz that the dam's about to break.
Right. Well, and a lot of the stuff I've read is as long as interest rates stay above about 4%, as long as prime is above 4%, it's going to be really tough to get any good stimulus. We've been in this business a pretty long time. I got into it back in 1997.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So about as long as anybody possibly could. Yeah.
Well,
almost 30 years.
Yeah. I mean, next year it'll be 30 years. So I think one of the things that I kind of lean back into is the fact that there's the annual season of it's slow in the winter and it's busy in the summer.
Yeah.
Except for a handful of markets like Phoenix that are inverted. There's that pattern, that seasonality, but there's also sort of a macro seasonality to real estate. So every about it's between 8 and 12 years. So it's on average about every 10 years. There's like a build up to what's really great and then a crash. And it was 9/11. It was the subprime mortgage crash. Now we're kind of it's not as extreme as those two, but the interest rates jumping up.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of the affordability / inflation crisis. I think of the last 2 years, 3 years.
So, but the pattern that always happens is people will say, when are we going to get back to normal? But the definition to most realtors is the height of
that's normal. Yeah.
So their definition of normal is like, when is it going to get good again? When are we going to get that good market that we're used to? But it always builds up slowly and then crashes suddenly and then builds up slowly again. And so usually 3-4 years after, people will say, you know what, this is just the new normal.
Yeah.
And the new normal is slowly, incrementally improving. I've never seen it go suddenly up. It's always slowly up and suddenly down. And so because of that,
that's a good insight.
I think
we're because of that we're screwed.
Well, I think that means we're already at the bottom. We're in the slow climb up.
Okay.
And
can we go faster, please?
It would every time, man. It would be great. It would be nice if we could go faster, but that just isn't how real estate moves.
Yeah.
It tends to be fairly slow, and a lot of that has to do with the affordability of homes.
Sure.
Right? And so
I can't afford one.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
especially after this year. Yeah. Well, what advice do you have for when you're talking about there are people who are taking advantage of this? So what would be your key piece of advice for a real estate media owner? What to do right now? Yeah,
I mean, I think the place where there's the best success is people that are interacting with their customers directly, getting personal. So there's a bunch of really fascinating trends that are kind of coming to a head. Because it's slow, it's easy to feel tired and to be like, I'm kind of exhausted by the rat race of it.
And depressed.
Yes. Yes. I mean, economically, but also
emotionally,
right? And because of that, realtors and real estate photographers, man, when the money's good, you're feeling great. And when it dries up, it's really depressing.
Yeah.
And it sort of follows that. We see it in our customer service team. We have a customer service team that is pretty filled out. It's all local. And we talk to our customers all the time. And one of the things that we see is, when we get into about like December, people are kind of quiet, but they're also kind of on vacation. But we get into January and February, people are on edge. They're anxious. The spring market is going to get here any minute, but I'm broke because I've just gone through a long winter. And so there's always a period of where people are just stressed out. And why are real estate photographers stressed out? Because agents are stressed out because they're also waiting for that commission uptick. So anyway, I would say because of the environment where it feels like everyone's just kind of exhausted by it all, they're kind of pulling in and pulling back. And so the ones that are leaning into reaching out and getting a cup of coffee with the agents, being in the offices, where the offices are still gathering agents, but really reaching out to top clients and cultivating community and relationship. That's and being really proactive from an interactive standpoint. There's a concept that we've been talking about more at HDPhotoHub about AI. Everyone's talking about AI. There's this huge embrace.
We can talk about it in the second half of the show, but but go ahead.
Well, just to touch on it briefly, there's kind of the way we look at it is there's AI to the third power. So there's 3 AIs that we think about. One of them is artificial intelligence. Obviously, that's where all the buzz is and all the excitement. But also authentic interactions.
Oh, okay.
Is like, don't forget the people side of things and getting to know people eyeball to eyeball. And the last one is absolute integrity. Like you have to have an absolute bedrock of how you interact with people in order to cultivate trust, in order to build something positive. Our business doesn't grow unless our customers' businesses grow. And so we wake up every day thinking about how can we help our customers grow their business, and how can we provide the tools to do that. And we do that because we have a tight linkage between our success and our customers' success because of our pricing model. But the idea is
we'll get into that in the ad.
Well, I mean it's all just kind of baked in like we want to make sure we have absolute alignment, and that's all part of that absolute integrity component. So when we're approaching, the projects that we tackle and the things that we're investing our time into and effort and energy and life into, we always think about those 3 buckets of AI, and they're all multipliers, right? So it's AI to the third power because how you can leverage the artificial intelligence tools times how you interact with people times your integrity, all of those things multiply together. If you have a 0 in any one of those buckets, the rest doesn't matter.
Right, it all zeroes out. Yeah. Well, Ian, one of the things I always remember our business coach telling us is like, when it gets to that slow period, and when we're in it right now, like everyone's tendency is, okay, I'm going to market now, and this is going to save me. Well, the marketing you're doing now is really for 3 months from now. I mean, it takes a lot of touches on people. It just takes a lot of time. So it's really important that, and especially as we remember, as we're, according to you, and we got you on tape saying it, trending up, that you want to keep marketing when you're doing well too. Because actually the marketing you do during busy season is what gets you through slow season.
Yeah.
You just need to be marketing all year round and having those conversations, having those personal interactions. That needs to be kind of a full-time year-round operation.
Totally.
Yeah.
Well, and I would break marketing up into sort of 2 categories of marketing and what I would consider sales. So marketing is the one-to-many approach. Like that's going on social media, that's producing content, that's how you interact on Instagram and that type of thing. And then there's the sales side, which is the face-to-face. That's the one-to-one, man-to-man combat, right?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people hear, well, now's when I'm going to do marketing, and they think, oh, okay, that means I'm going to up my, a spend on internet or marketing, or I'm going to produce content and put it out there. And we have seen it over and over again in our own business and in stuff that I've done in the past when I was at Tour Factory and we built that to be a 500 photographer company, and it's always both. Those 2 things always. I think of the sales and the marketing side, the online brand building and the human interaction sales part as the two wings of the bird that help you reach heights. If you have only one flapping around, you're just flopping around on the ground.
Right. Yeah. Well, yeah, we always saw the three prongs, or the tripod, like social media, in person, and then ads or yeah. So okay, well, I guess let's touch on the AI bit a little more, and in fact, the AI that's on everyone's mind of do you see it in your customers, like how they're using AI, or is that really kind of hidden to you because they're doing it off your platform, and is HDPhotoHub using AI in the platform that you can say you are?
Yeah, so wow, what a huge topic.
Good, we have 5 minutes before the social media sidebar.
So I think, so are people using the AI? Yes, but what I'm seeing in AI that I think is really fascinating to me is there's a wide gap in how people are using AI. So there is right now, we have some customers that are like, yeah, I use AI all the time. And what they mean by that is they go to ChatGPT instead of Google.
Right.
For doing their research.
Right.
And that's a fine first step for dipping your toe into it. We also have a number of customers that are using the API on our platform and are running scripts to mine their own data and pull things. And they're using Claude to automate a bunch of stuff. Like there's people using AI to automate post-processing workflows and a whole bunch of stuff that all integrates into the platform. And so some of what's being done is it's in a rudimentary stage where it's early. There's a lot of there's a lot of it works, but it's kind of brute force. And I think where we're headed. I know we've talked a lot in a lot of our marketing and our big announcement at PMRE last year was that we're working on a whole new ground-up rebuild of our platform.
Right.
And a lot of that it's the new interface is what people see, but what I think is kind of maybe more subtle and more missed and more backroom is the total rewrite of what's underneath the platform underneath, and that rewrite is all about preparing that system, our platform, to be extremely AI interoperable, so that what people are doing today will seem like they weren't even using AI at all. So in a couple of years, the amount of things that people will be doing and integrating in, and we have a whole bunch of stuff that we're working on and a bunch of exciting announcements that we'll have at PMRE around this, but we've been working with a lot of other third-party companies and incorporating their AI tools, and we've got some. We're using it internally a lot to automate a lot of our internal processes to increase the speed that we move at. But there's definitely some stuff coming that we can't really get into.
Can you tease it a little?
So let me say it this way.
Okay. All right.
So. Wouldn't it be great if there was a platform that brought
I'm already on board
1,000 things together into one place and orchestrated all of those things? Maybe if it was like, I don't know, like a hub.
Yeah,
of where all your media was and all of your
in
third-party
HD.
systems.
Yeah.
In a very high definition. That would be really great.
Yeah.
So I mean, where I see it going for us is we're leaning into the hub part of HDPhotoHub a lot more. And so what our goal is to be a place not only that we build a great platform, but that other people build upon the hub platform. So what does that mean? That means we're going to have substantial growth in our already large library of integration partners. We'll see an explosive growth in that zone. And having a place for photography companies to put the center of their business that can then interact with and orchestrate work with anybody they want. And that also means for companies that are a little bit larger that want to invest a little bit, they can build their own modifications and updates and widgets and plugins and things so that the platform really becomes a true platform where people can get exactly the capabilities that they have dreamed of, you don't have to just go build your own whole system. Take this as a starting point, add the pieces that are unique.
Well, and I think the integrations are so key. I mean, I think we've already seen, I mean, if you want to talk, one very obvious AI integration is integrating with Auto HDR and having just the automatic upload to the listings and it processes right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and we've got some big stuff coming there too.
Yeah.
Like we've been working with Matt and his team on, and they've been working on some exciting things in the back end, and we're working on making sure that at launch that stuff is also part of our integration and integrates even deeper. And so I think, I think that's the trend line. I think it's like, it's so interesting because to me, it's creating an environment where people can do deeper specialization. So somebody like Auto HDR can just get so amazingly good at the photo post-processing. And there are others too. Like,
Yeah, sure.
We have other integration partners that we work with that are also phenomenal in this zone. And our goal is actually to be kind of vendor agnostic. So our goal is to work with as many as we can.
Right, because that helps your customers because they're like, oh no, I don't use Auto HDR, I use this person. And
we want them. We're going to let the market drive this.
Yeah.
But by creating that hub environment, people can have one central place where their data is stored, and they can choose which vendor they want to use, and they can switch if they want, or get more than one. Like we're also seeing people, as they're tiptoeing into the AI world, they'll work with more than one vendor in AI image processing, so that it's like, well, I got the photos back and they were pretty good, but not perfect. Why don't we give this other guy a try? And maybe with this photo shoot, the other vendor will do a better job.
Yeah, someone does better at exterior, someone does better at interior. I mean, and it's changing every day.
It totally is.
So
Yeah, but we want to make sure that we have a healthy competition in that zone where we are always spiraling upward and delivering better and better. Like keeping it easy for people to use the competing services that are out there without it being like this whole massive transition to a whole new thing.
Right. So. Yeah, no, and I like being the vendor agnostic because I think that once you make your bed, then you're lying in it. If you were just like, well, it's just this one company, and then it's like, well, if they start not doing so great, then your customers are trapped.
Right. Yeah. Well, and we've seen that over and over again too, where who's great today isn't necessarily great a year from now.
Yeah.
It could be that somebody gets bought out or they have a change in management, or whatever the circumstances are, right? They just grow to a size where they don't scale well. They didn't build things out to scale. Then who's number one today may not be who's number one.
I mean, just look at the 3D wars and just look where Matterport, they had it and then they fumbled it. And I don't know if it was they, but it was the buyouts and everything else and just being assholes. It's just like they, just be,
in
not
fairness,
to put too fine a point on it.
Yeah,
but
in fairness to them, I think there's a bunch of great people in all of those companies.
Sure.
And,
of course.
And like the individual people.
Oh, you're so nice, Herb.
Well, I know a bunch of the people that worked both at Matterport and at iGuide, and and there are genuinely great people in all those companies fighting the good fight against.
And they all lost.
Yeah.
Well, I mean that's what I mean. It's like, and I'm really, to really put a fine point on it, calling the company an asshole, not the individual people, obviously. Yeah. But like with Matterport, I just never felt like they were a great partner to real estate photographers. We were like the leech on them or something. And it's just like, even where you just couldn't store your freaking client's information in there and had to type it in every single time. Just those little things, you're just like, they just don't care about our experience. They're just using us, and now they just give out free Matterports to everybody instead of.
I think for me, that's where the authentic interactions really comes in. Yeah. Because from what I could see as an outsider, but that worked a lot with them, the people that were close to the photography business were very much understood those things and were advocating. But
look at Vince. I mean, I love that guy. One of my favorite guys in the industry, and I know he had our back, but he's just like yelling into the cloud, into the wind,
Yeah.
So
Brian was the same way.
Yeah.
I mean, there's many actually, but I think the way I look at it is, it's not actually. You could say that It's not the people at the ground level. You could even say it's not some of the more higher up people.
Yeah.
I think it's the structure. It's the framework that motivated. They were having to fight gravity because they didn't have the right architecture for their business that kept things in alignment. And so for me, one of the big lessons that I've gotten through going through, almost 30 years in the business and going through several rise and fall of the industry and also different businesses that I've been part of is when somebody says, no, I know what my terms of use say, but trust me, dude, we won't screw you.
Yeah.
Then adjust your terms of use. The mechanisms or the frameworks have to align with the make sure that that everyone is aligned in the right way. Anytime you have to have a person that says, well, I know what it says, but here's how that's a red flag. Because even if you can trust them today, they might that person may not be in that spot in a year from now, and the next thing you know, they get acquired. Somebody looks down a balance sheet and says, "What's going on over here?
Yeah.
Let's change this." What does the license say? Great. Let's take the rights. Let's do.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. Yeah. So no, exactly, and that's exactly what happened with that. So, okay. Well, let's take a little break. We'll do some ads. We'll do some social media sidebar, of course, and we'll come back. And then I want to talk about a little bit. I don't love the show being a biography of people, but I do think there's some pretty interesting, relevant things in your story that I think that could be useful information for our listeners. So let's talk about your story, your journey to where you are today after that break. And then I came up here, I carried an action item all the way up here. So I hope you have one, a native one. Okay, good. All right, we'll end with that then.
Okay, sounds great.
Molly, your last rodeo here, so we brought you in for the ads, the non-HDPhotoHub ads. So tell us, what are your favorite things about Auto HDR?
There's just so many.
Such as?
Everything you think, I think.
Oh, okay, perfect. So really, you would probably talk about, since we're at HDPhotoHub HQ, the treehouse, that Auto HDR's integration with HDPhotoHub is a key, I think one of the key selling points is because you can have your photographers, they're out there shooting JPEGs in the field, and they can put that little dongle, and I think there's one that's even branded HDPhotoHub, put it right into their phone, and they can upload those JPEGs directly to the listing in HDPhotoHub, and it gets processed right then and there.
Yeah.
So you are now able to deliver within minutes, or not minutes, but within an hour of your shoot.
Right.
Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
Of course you would. And so I think with Auto HDR, and it's fast, but the quality is also probably top of the line in the AI photo editing marketplace.
It's a major slay.
It's a major slay, of course it is. So Molly, you want to go to autohdr.com/upmarket because you're going to get, do you remember?
15.
A free month of editing if you sign up for a month of editing. So basically, it's a fantastic deal, and you're going to be blown away by the speed and the quality of autohdr.com/upmarket. Like this whole episode in a certain way is an ad for you, but come on, hit me. Why should we be using HDPhotoHub?
Well, I mean, our goal as a company is to build a platform that helps real estate photographers grow their business, right?
Yeah.
So it's in the root of our core values every day. That's what we're working on doing. And we've been in the business for a long time in various facets. I haven't added up how many hundreds of years worth of accumulative experience we have, but a lot. Many of the people have been in the business. I mean, I'm almost 30, but we've got several people that have been 20. So it's a lot.
Yeah, you bring a lot of experience. And obviously, it's just as we've been talking about, and we don't need to rehash it all because, I think right now it's such a powerful tool, and it sounds like what you're working on is even going to supercharge what you have now. Yeah. So, and if you want to be a part of it, go to hdphotohub.com, use the code UPMARKET, and if you're a new user, you get 15, let's do 16. I got Herb here. We're going 16 bonus listings for free. for free, and we're gonna and that includes full delivery. That includes the marketing kits where you can make money.
You know what, Reed? Since you're here, why don't we do 20?
Whoa! All right.
But just for the next month.
Just for the next month. Okay, so just to the let's say to the end of September. Give us,
That
give
sounds
us,
good.
okay. To the end of September, use the code Upmarket. You're going to get 20 free full deliveries. That's marketing kits. You can charge like $35 for those.
Yeah.
We just made you $700 or something. I don't just, yeah. Fantastic. All right. Thanks, Herb.
Yeah.
Okay, social media sidebar. We are Upmarket Pod across all social media. You know what? You want to like, subscribe. You want to hit us up on YouTube. I mean, you're going to get to see the whole HDPhotoHub headquarters, the treehouse here. It's so nice. So give us a follow. I'm Reed Fish, LYSM personally. Herb, I know you have a thriving personal Instagram account, right?
No, I try to stay off of social media personally.
Oh, okay. But what do you direct your minions to do?
Well, we go to, I mean, we have HDPhotoHub on all the socials.
Okay.
So we've got YouTube YouTube's where the best content is, because the stuff that we do the most is podcasts where we interview some of the integration partners and talk about.
So kind of like more webinars almost in a way. Yeah.
Yep.
So you're giving out like actual useful information, not just making jokes.
Yeah, we try to.
Yeah.
And then like,
because ours is just making jokes. But
once a year, Ian and I sit down and do like a deep dive on our on stats. We like really go deep into that, and so that's usually in October, which is after the busy season and, and when people are starting to think about how to prepare for the next year. It seems like a good time to do that. So that's something to watch out for.
Okay. And do you have so are you planning more Instagram content? I know we're going to shoot some stuff. So when this comes out, we'll start pumping out the fun content we're going to do later today.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely do have content on Instagram and all that stuff. We have, but that's somebody else's department. I got people for that, and they're great.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. All right. Well, that's great. So HDPhotoHub across all social media, and Molly, shout out Molly. You're not on this social media sidebar, but you're overseeing it very well. Thank you. She's waving. Okay, we'll take another quick break, and then we're going to come back and we're going to talk about Herb's backstory. Okay, Molly, I feel like you don't know a lot about all of our sponsors, but I feel like if there's one that you do, it's iGuide.
It is.
Because I know some of your best memories of your time working with us is going to iGuide, hanging out with the crew up there, and exploring their whole product line. So what can you tell me about some of the features about iGuide?
Their 3D cameras are top of the line.
Absolutely.
And
are they accurate?
Accurate.
Are
fast?
They? Yes, fast, yeah.
Delivery is always
seamless, yeah.
Seamless.
And I think what is great about it is the fee structure, right? Because unlike certain platforms, there's no subscription fees. So it's just pay per project, which is pay per project is great because you can actually have an accurate forecast for what your costs are going to be. So when you're setting your prices, that's one of the things you want to think about. Right?
Forecast is bright at iGuide.
The forecast is bright. So if you want to check it out, you know where to go. Go iGuide.com. And if you go to goiGuide.com/PMRE, there's still time available to get in there and enter to win 2 more trips, full trips to PMRE, and come hang out with us, not you, but me, and the HDPhotoHub crew, because they'll be there.
Rub it in. Thank you, Reed.
I will. You had a chance, but you quit. Molly, while we're in Spokane, let's do some floor plans. What do you say? I mean, let's freaking burn it down tonight. Oh, no, that's horrible. That's horrible because of the fires. I meant let's party hard and bust out our phones and do floor plans wherever we go. Yes. We're going to treat the city of Spokane to free floor plans all day, all night.
Make it rain, literally.
Make it rain with floor plans and using, of course, Second Floor app because we can just walk around. If we're in the club, we can just walk around and just for 2 minutes with that phone, and then we're going to be able to. We're going to give the bouncer a free floor plan of the club. I mean, they're going to be so impressed.
Maybe we'll give you more than a drink.
Yeah, I hope so. So if you want to get in on that action for instant floor plans that are super easy, super affordable, secondfloorapp.com/upmarket. You're going to get a free month of service. You can do all the clubs you want. You can make it rain however you want.
Roll Tide.
All right, we're back at the Treehouse with Herb Dierks, founder of HDPhotoHub. So, Herb, you started in 1997, but you didn't start HDPhotoHub in 1997.
Correct.
So you started like pretty much everyone else here is like a solo real estate photographer. Is that right?
So no, I actually never started as a photographer. I've never done photography, and you wouldn't want me to shoot in your house. It's terrible.
All right. Well, I figured you would be not good at it, but I thought maybe you did it. Okay, so you didn't. All right, great. So that was a really good intro that I just did. But what did you do when you started?
I've always loved business, and I've always loved technology. Those are the two things that I just can never get enough of. I actually started writing software when I was in high school, and started marketing a point-of-sale system while I was still in high school. So I've always had that love of business and technology and the fusion of those two. So how I started in real estate photography, I started at a company called Home Debut that was started in 1997. They're actually the first company that we've ever been able to find documented that did interior photography, not just the front shots. And at that time, everything was the MLS book and the little black and white photo in the Sunday ad. And our pitch at that time was to buy a 9-photo tour. And the reason that we called it a 9-photo tour is because if you shot 24 exposures on a roll of film, you got 9 good photos.
Right.
So anyway, and our pitch was to have people reduce their Sunday ad by 1 or 2 lines and instead put in the URL. And it was actually cheaper to pay us to go shoot photos. Like the cost of the Sunday ads were so expensive that reducing the number of lines could cover the cost of photography. So it's a pretty wild time, but it was before broadband. Everyone was on dial-up, and so anyway, so been in it a long time.
Well, but you started the business, but you had a photographer work for you.
Yeah. So we had, I wasn't the original founder of that company. I came in as employee number 5.
Okay.
And that Home Debut became Tour Factory. In Tour Factory, we grew into Spokane, in Spokane, and then we grew out of the area. We opened up new markets, and over the course of the 18 years that I was on that journey, I was 9 years as the head nerd and then 9 years as the CEO. And over that time, we started with 1 photographer, and we grew to having about 500 photographers nationwide in the network.
So how did you grow? And especially, this was in the aughts, right? So
this was a long time ago.
Yeah. So how were you able to get into new markets? How were you able to grow that?
Yeah. So we had an interesting model where we would establish a salesperson, and they actually were their own photography business. They had their own little sub business, and all we did was provide the technology for them.
It was kind of like a franchise.
Yeah, we would never say the F word.
Yeah,
but,
right. Yeah.
Yes,
I know you wouldn't.
But that it did look and act and smell a lot like that.
Right. But the government didn't think so. That was the important part.
It was never registered that way, and we were careful not to actually skate into those zones that would trigger that. But yes, I mean, it by all intents and purposes, it would look and feel like that. It was like a licensed use of a brand, and we had a training program that people would fly up to Spokane, and we'd do 3 days and put them through a boot camp and on how to sell and not really how to shoot. They had to already know how to shoot.
Okay.
Those people, which we called TAPs, which were Tour Factory authorized providers, would establish a market and sell and often do some shooting, and then eventually we would help them grow their business. So the role that we played from the corporate office was more like a coaching and idea sharing and like best practice kind of thing. And so it was interesting because we were really, even then, helping other people build up their own real estate photography business with their own photographers. But what we consolidated was customer service in one place, payroll in one place.
Right. So
a bunch of the back office functions that nobody loves to do.
Yeah.
Right. And get that off the plate and grow. But and that grew. It was great. I mean, I have some super fond memories of that period because one of my favorite things that we did was what we called our TAP conference. And so we were doing conferences where we would bring all of the all of these, not every photographer,
Right.
But the market leaders for each of those markets to Spokane, and we'd spend a couple days, 2.5 days usually, doing some sessions and networking and building. And what we discovered from doing those conferences is that I really learned deeply how each individual market is so unique, and yet there are things that are the same from one market to another. And each of those people felt like a lone warrior out on the plain by themselves, right? And very isolated and separated, just like everyone in this industry today, has that feeling. Bringing people together for that conference was such an uplift for them. They could do idea sharing. They could best practice sharing, I guess, is the best way to say it. And but also sort of just know I'm not alone out there.
Yeah. So
And know that agents are kind of illiterate everywhere, not just in my market.
Right. Yeah. Right.
And like all of the challenges that come along with that. So creating a community was just, it turned out to be, it wasn't what we thought we were doing up front, but it turned out to be a huge thing.
Yeah, and none of those people were competing with each other either.
Right.
So I mean that's one of the keys, and even though and I know the parallels then to the PMRE kind of came around, and that supercharged that idea for the entire industry. But even at PMRE, there's moments where you're like, oh, that's my competitor over there, and so I think that can cause a little bit of guardedness at times. But still, we've talked about it a million times on here of how. That personal connection with other people who understand what you've been going through is profound. It's profound. It really is.
Yeah, I think if you've never been to a conference like that, if you've never been to PMRE, I've always saw this with that conference. I've seen it with PMRE as well. People sort of reluctantly come. They come to the first conference, thinking they're coming for the sessions and the knowledge.
Yeah.
They come back for the community.
Yeah, for sure.
And Brandon and I talked before he launched PMRE, and we spent a bunch of time sort of workshopping how to do it and what the best strategy was. I shared as much as I could with him to give him a head start on launching PMRE. But even from when we were first talking about it, I was like, we totally want to be a sponsor. We sponsored every year, and we are really committed to PMRE because that type of environment is just so it has to exist for this industry. Yeah. It's so important.
Yeah, and now you're seeing a lot of other events now too. So it's which is to me great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
Well, okay, so then you grew Tour Factory, and then what happened?
Well, I haven't really talked a lot about this publicly.
Perfect.
So here's the pretty short version.
Oh yeah, sure. But I want the tea. I want the good stuff.
All right. Well, so the original founder of the company is the type of person that is a huge visionary, right?
Okay.
And you got to remember, I came on in '97.
Yeah.
Her and her husband started the company in late '95. And the original idea was to record the interiors of homes on VHS tapes and have a library of those to copy for relocation departments for large corporations that were recruiting. It's ridiculous. And so then the internet comes along and they're like, oh, this is a way better idea. Let's abandon this thing and go this other direction. Anyway, you have to be the kind of person that looks pretty far into the future and are willing to take a bet on something where the odds are pretty poor. Even starting, the original home debut was long before dial-up or long before broadband.
Right.
And dial-up was even not a lot of people had internet in the home. Anyway, we went the first 10 years. We started to get some momentum. It took a long time because the market, we were way ahead of the market. Right. It took a long time to build. But by 2002, 2003, we had a decent business. We were opening up we had a fair number of other markets going and stuff. And the original founder got divorced, and then she got remarried and moved. And basically became a silent partner.
Right.
And so she, not right away, but she tossed the keys to me, and we're like, all right, you're already kind of running it, run it. And so I got promoted pretty young to be the CEO of a multi-million-dollar company, but we were having a lot of fun. We were growing. It was great. We went another 8 or 9 years, and and she decided she didn't want to be a silent partner anymore. She had another child. Once he was in school, she was like, I'm kind of bored. I kind of want to get involved again. And so then we ended up with 2 chiefs, and we didn't really see eye to eye. And she would probably tell the story a little differently, but from my perspective, her value was very much about taking a very creative approach, like always coming up with crazy ideas. But
that's what I do.
We were at a phase of life in the company where we couldn't bet the whole farm on every single crazy new idea that came along, and so that created a lot of tension. And so we were
because you seem very practical. That's the vibe I get.
I mean, I hope so. I hope I'm practical, but I'm always open. Like I definitely
sure. But I feel like you're measured and thoughtful. And maybe that is, and maybe that's where I'm getting practical from.
Yeah, I would say if you're contrasting that to careless, then yes. But if you're contrasting that to being open to change, then I would say then I might disagree.
Okay, sure.
Because I think that part of this journey is always finding ways to embrace. I mean, we got patents on stuff in this space. Back in the 90s, we pushed the envelope in a bunch of ways that I think were really important and key for this industry. But not like we should be thoughtful about how to do that. Like we shouldn't just jump on a trend and bet the company every week, right? Like that isn't the way that you should. Too many people are counting on this platform.
There's smart bets and there's bad bets.
So, I mean, I've always loved the crawl, walk, run philosophy of let's dabble, let's play, and play is one of our is a key part of our culture of like always being open to trying something new. Let's try it. Let's see what happens. Like we might think that that's a bad idea, but let's give it a shot and see and prove it, because sometimes we're right and sometimes we're wrong. And anyway, so by the time we get to she wants to get re-engaged, she's got all kinds of ideas that I just frankly don't agree with and don't think of the right direction for the company. But there was also a shift happening. And one of the things that I noticed in the people that were in these individual markets is they really had very unique and separate individual needs. The markets, particularly, so an example at that time was in New York and in Austin, every listing had a floor plan, every listing. But if you went to almost any other market, they could care less about floor plans. And so we have some people saying we absolutely have to go all in on floor plans. And we have other people being like, floor plans are a complete waste of time. Nobody wants to pay for them. Now, I mean, they're a lot more universal now. But at that time, it was early in that evolution. And so because of the difference in markets, we were already different than OBO and CirclePix and some of the other sort of companies at that time period, where we had market-specific pricing. They tried to do national standardized pricing, which is crazy. Like you have to have market-specific pricing.
Absolutely.
The cost of living is so different from one market to another. But even if your pricing is different, the products that you're offering are kind of regional. And so what we were running into is how do you build a national company with national coverage with a national standardized product offering? Because that's what the big franchises want, right? Like the point of federating together is so that you can get bigger clients. So you can get clients that you can get real estate companies that get that cover big areas. That's one reason. It's not the only reason, but it's a compelling reason. But they all want one standard product offering, and getting 50 people on the same page, like just getting getting 5 or 10 on the same page was tough. Getting 50 was like, it was just lots of friction. And so what I was realizing, kind of sitting back, is that I think trying to sort of force everyone into a widget, everyone into a standardized, like trying to factoryize everything.
Right.
Isn't actually what people want. It isn't what the market wants. It isn't what the people want. And so trying to force that just was a fight I didn't want to have anymore. And didn't seem like it was a winning fight either, for the record. So
I think that's been proven out.
Yeah. Well, and yeah. So anyway, tension grew, and long story short, we separated. It became clear. I mean, she was the founder. She held more. I had some ownership, but she held a bigger chunk of ownership. And I learned a bunch of things from that.
Yeah.
I learned, one thing that I learned is that when you're building your own business and you get sort of accustomed to being the person who gets to make the call, it's pretty hard to cede that to somebody else when you don't have the same vision for the future. You really, we tried, but you really can't have two visions for a single company. You can't.
No.
It doesn't work. And we did give it a good try. I think another thing that I learned, and this is more maybe on the personal level, the whole time we were building that company, when you start off small, you think someday this is going to be big and amazing, and you think there's this giant pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. Eventually, we're going to get bought, and it's going to be for millions of dollars.
Yeah, that's happening for me.
Yeah,
probably really soon.
Yeah. And when you're in the build-up phase, everyone's cool with that because everyone thinks we're all going to be Scrooge McDuck swimming in a money bin full of gold coins. But when you get closer to something like that actually happening, people start to change. And it actually turns out that sometimes success is a much bigger menace than you might think. People that say, well, I'm the whole reason this is coming together, and I'm the whole reason this is even here, will suddenly start to feel like their wedge of the pie should actually be bigger than everyone else's. And so what you end up with is a lot of tension and a lot of hurt feelings. And as somebody who's a minority shareholder in that situation, when I saw some of how the decision making was being done about how we were going to do stock and how we were going to divide that and how we were going to create multiple classes of shares, like there was a bunch of stuff that was like, oh, this is starting to get kind of ugly.
Right.
And then ultimately, when she came to me and said, I would like your resignation, and on a random Thursday morning, I was like, what? And she was like, yeah, we're just not on the same page. I'm gonna need your resignation. And it was like a complete out of the blue shock to me. 18 years, and I put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into the company. There was a lot of late nights, a lot of time away from my kids, because I thought we were building something together. And then to just be like, you're out, and actually, I'm going to make you this lowball offer to buy out your shares. It was like, what? I was working well below what I could have gotten a job somewhere else for, because I thought this ownership piece was going to really be the payday, and it turns out it really, really wasn't. And so a couple lessons. One is what looks and feels like a great partnership at the beginning, and is a great partnership at the beginning, can change, and that means you got to kind of protect yourself. And for me, I want to make sure that I'm compensating all the people in my company well throughout the whole journey, so that as you never look back and be like, I gave my life for that and it was taken away. And I think a third lesson is, and this is for sure the one that has carried the strongest in HDPhotoHub, is I know on a very intimate level, very personal level, what it's like to absolutely pour your life into something and have it taken away like that. And so when it comes to how we are helping real estate photographers build their businesses, and I think about sort of some of the predacious nature of how some other companies are out there, like the hair stands up on the back of my head. Like I want to protect people that have built something that they use to feed their family, that they've invested enormous amounts of their soul into and their life into. The thought of the value being hijacked and sold, stripped for parts and sold by somebody else is infuriating me because I've been there. So anyway, as a result of that, I sort of vowed to build a platform that would be a safe place for real estate photographers where they wouldn't get sold out.
Which is why you didn't sell to Zillow. I mean, maybe they didn't offer, but you don't have to talk about that publicly. But
yeah, I mean, in a way, no, they've never.
And that's not to denigrate anyone who did sell to Zillow. I want to be very clear. Right?
I get that. No,
we all have our different models, right? Yeah.
We all have different models, and we all have different sort of long-term plays and stuff. And I get the idea of build a business, grow it, sell it. Like that makes a lot. I get the financial structure to that. To me, if I build a company, this is just me personally.
Yeah,
this is no shade on anyone else, but if I'm going to build a company that somebody else would want to own, why do they want to own it? If they want to own it, I should want to own it. Like I should build a business that is desirable to own, and then I should just own it.
Right.
And as a result of that.
Right. And then when you want to retire, you can sell it. Because there's you don't want to probably work till you're 90. Or maybe you do.
What is retirement? Like for me, retirement is going to be I get to do what I want. I mean, you could say you could make the argument that I'm functionally retired right now because I'm doing what I love. I love doing this. I love helping other people build their business. I love building technology that makes my customers smile, our customers smile, and makes our competitors squirm. That's my favorite thing. Like I love unlocking new capability. And so like I could hire somebody and put them in my role in the company and just be an owner. Right. I could do that, but why would I want to do that? This is too much fun.
Right. Wow. Well, and the one thing that I kind of that sparked for me when you were talking about that is, and it's something our business advisor told us when Mark and I first merged our business together. She's like, "You're friends now, but this will end someday." And you want to make sure that you set the terms now of what that end looks like. Yeah. So that way, when there is a disagreement, or if you have had that change in vision, that you can always have something to go back to say, well, no, this is what the agreement is. Yeah. And that I think that's really powerful for anyone who's trying to build something that where you're bringing in other people and when there is a potential exit. Yeah.
Well, there's lots of models though, right? Like there are models where you can. There's models where you bring in multiple owners and you have like a buyout, but it's like a rotating group of people that are still engaged in the business, and you don't have to take your business and sell it to a monolith in order to have an exit. And for me, whatever that the future holds, the core is to make sure that the people that are working at the company, that the customers of the company are
taken care of,
cared for, right? Yeah. Because like if Zillow did offer, so for the record, they haven't offered to buy. There's not, but have they evaluated us as a potential? I mean, come on.
Right. Right. They're smart. Of course they would have. Yeah.
But we set our terms of use so that we don't take any license with. So we have a minimal license for use on the platform, only directed by the way our customers use it. So we have no access to any of the. Right. And interestingly, that's a question somebody at Zillow once asked me. What are the licenses? How does the licensing work for people that have uploaded media to your platform? And not only Zillow, for the record. Sure. But so we sort of set it up so that we have acquisition repellent sort of built in, because that isn't what we're going for. But if they did offer, and there was a big, if that Hollywood scene of I'm going to write a number on a piece of paper, right? There's a part of me that's like, or I could just work in the business for 5 more years and make that money just doing a good job serving customers. Like, why do I want to?
Right. Yeah, because it doesn't sound like you're like, I just want to travel. I just want to do that.
I can travel. If I want to travel, I can take a month off and go do some travel and then come back and have more fun.
Right. Right. Well, that's the dream, man. Jeez. Yeah. Well, okay, we're kind of running out of time, but I did want to touch on, because you got to the point of the story where you got fired.
Yeah.
And I hate that. Just fire you. Why do you have to ask you to resign? I mean,
Well,
yeah.
so here's the funniest twist of that.
Okay.
Well, the short answer to the reason why I asked to resign is because you can't sue somebody if you for unlawful termination if you resign.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So you said, no, I'm not resigning. Yeah.
Well, but the other part of it is that in order to get the board approval, we had a small board. She called an emergency board meeting and said something that was blatantly false, which was that I was on the side spinning up a separate company to compete with them, which was just 100% not true. But they were like, what? This is happening? They like totally bought in. There was like this panic moment. Okay, we're voting to approve, we're to move forward with the termination. It was like, there's a lot of things that I have a lot of heartache around that of like, where was the trust, guys? Why didn't we have a conversation? If you thought that was actually the case, just ask me to sign something.
Right, that says I'm not going to start a competing business.
Yeah, or that anything I develop is the property of the company. Like I would have happily signed any of that stuff because it wasn't on my radar even in the slightest. But the irony is that then it was like, well, now what are you going to, I go home, talk to my wife, like, now what are you going to do? I've only done one thing ever, like for the last 20 years. I'm institutionalized into this business. I guess I am going to start a competing company, like, but I didn't want to do the same thing because I saw there were inherent flaws in the model in that trying to get everyone operating under a single brand was just not the way to go. The way to go, it was actually the terrible privilege of a clean slate and all the benefit of what the pros and cons are of that model was like, what this industry needs is a technology platform that allows individual real estate photographers to have all of the same technology that only the large companies had access to at the time. And so it was like, I guess I'm going to build that. Plus the fact that for the full week after that, my phone was just nonstop from all these people in these individual markets that were like calling me up and being like, is the rumor true? I can't believe it. I can't believe it. And what are we going to do? Like, are you like, she's clearly going to wreck the joint. What are we going to do? What are we going to do with I can shoot, but I can't run customer service. I don't have technology. I need something. And so it was like, well, I guess I need to build something. So anyway, it was all kind of culminating towards that. Now, having said that, it was really hard. Like it's really hard to go from running a company with 500 people in it and being the CEO and people having all this respect for you because of your title to being an absolute nobody in the business and starting from the Stone Age of and having to build up again from a single person. I mean, I worked, because technology was my background, I just started working on the platform, and it took me 9 months working with nobody knowing what I was doing. And I mean, I don't know if you could go a couple of years with no income while you build something new from the ground up.
Me personally, no.
Yeah, I mean, most people can't. It was really hard. It was really hard to do that. It was a lot of work with no
guaranteed payoff.
No income, no guarantee anything, and no idea how long it was going to take to get things going. It was over a year before we really started to get a handful of customers, and it was very slow going. It took a while for the company to become profitable, but because the other thing that I had, I don't know if it's working against me or working for me, was I never wanted to have a situation where a partner could hijack and destroy my dream. So I didn't want to work with investors. I didn't want to have that investor pressure to go sell out later or whatever. So the whole thing's bootstrapped. So we have no debt. We have no, we're not beholden to anybody. The company is
I know, like it's more money to sponsor podcasts. So I love it.
Well, there's that.
Yeah.
There's that.
Yeah.
But also, like, we can always do the long play, right?
Right.
So whenever we're looking at investments, we don't have to worry about quarterly results or reporting up to somebody with an alternative agenda. We're always thinking about what's going to be the best thing in the long run.
Right. Well, the best thing in the long run, I think, for us is to do action item.
All
So
right.
yeah, so let's do that.
Sounds great.
Our action items today are sponsored by Pixel CRM. Go to pixelcrm.com where you are going to be able to find all the stuff that you need to run that back end of your business, keep track of your clients, market to them. So many functionalities with Pixel CRM. It's going to grow your business. Check it out. pixelcrm.com.
So I'll go first because somehow your profound business wisdom, I think you'll have a good one. But mine's pretty simple, and I've done versions of it in the past because we're at episode 138. Come on, guys, cut me some slack. But we are, this perpetual slow season. We do all have the time. Call 5 agents this week just to say hi. So I know I've done the take an agent out to lunch, I think a couple times as an action item, but I think this one, just call 5 agents. Just five, maybe choose 2 really good clients, 2 medium, and maybe a couple of people who've just shot with you once, and just make contact and probably do that like every week for the next, foreseeable future, maybe forever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's
a great one. If I could add a slight modifier to that.
Sure.
Call 5, but not your top 5.
Yeah.
Go further down the list, maybe to the ones that you haven't heard from lately or whatever.
Yeah.
I would say my action item, AI is on my mind a lot lately.
Yeah.
And so I would say while you're in the car driving around, I would be thinking about AI. And I would just encourage people to think about AI from the three pillars that we were talking about. Artificial intelligence, yes. How can you lean in more into AI tools and tool sets? If you haven't experimented with any of the post-processing companies that are doing AI stuff, it's a good time to at least experiment and dabble and start. There's several out there. They're great. Auto HDR is great. eSoft is great. Like there's a bunch of them that are great. So get out there and if you haven't yet done that, do that. But also the authentic interaction stuff. I think people have a lot of fatigue around all of the sort of AI like robot stuff, and I think because so much is, it's like you pick up the phone and try to get a hold of somebody at a company, and you're listening to the person on the other end. At least I am now always questioning: is this a real person or is this an AI agent? I'm so sick of all that stuff, and so I would just think of how can you lean into in the relationships that matter in your life and in your business, to making space and time for being super present and authentic in those interactions. And then of course the third one is, is all about integrity. So I think reflecting on those 3 buckets, and don't get caught up in the fad of AI, but don't ignore it either. It's not one or the other. It's use it where it applies and be thoughtful about where the areas that it applies and where the areas that it absolutely doesn't.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. Well, and I want to shout you out because I think like when you do talk about absolute integrity, it does feel like, unlike some other people in our industry and not out of our industry, you talk the talk and you walk the walk. So
we try to.
It seems like it. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you'll pull the rug out from under me one of these days, but I don't think so.
Not.
I don't think so.
I mean,
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I'll try to have integrity and say some thank yous, of course, to our sponsors, including you guys. Thank you so much for hosting us, and Kevin and Ian and the whole crew here. We've already had fun, and I think it's going to be a fun rest of the day. And then thank you, of course, to our listeners, and then thank you to Molly. Last one. All right, thanks everyone, and we'll be back next week with a new producer. Very exciting.
Upmarket is a production of Upmarket Media and is produced by Molly Peart and edited by Tessa Nelson. Our wish for you this week is to not have to do any Friday Night Twilight shoots. Thank you for everything.